Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Unwind. This is Malika and Audrey, and we wish you a very, 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 very happy new year. It is 2024, and that's why we are dressed like this. So, we are in the holiday New Year spirit. It is the new year. How does it feel, Audrey?
Well, you're dressed like that. I'm still dressed like in my old clothes from last year.
Yeah, I'm feeling the new year a bit
I,
more. So,
I did do my nails though, so I guess New Year nails. New Year, new nails.
exactly. New year, new nails, new me.
Exactly. I mean, wow. I can't believe it. It's 2024 already.
No.
And what do you do? What do you do in 20? Like, what do you do in New Year's?
It was a lot. I think after our last episode, it was just a lot of like meeting our friends and going on a lot of lunches and dinners and parties. And Patna is a small town, and you celebrate people like celebrate these events with like a small number of people. So we were just at the house with like food, good stuff, and just talked and danced all night. So it was very wholesome with people that I've grown up with,
Oh,
just like very very lovely. But I'm leaving for Delhi tomorrow, so it's a lot. Like my
okay.
year has started, and all that pressure of career and traveling and moving has like hit me now. So yeah, new year, lots of new things. What did you do?
Well, I went for a New Year's party, if that counts. And had a lot of fun, met friends, and and spending the first few days back with family as well. So yeah, now I'm back in Malaysia. We are spending some more time, and then we're heading back to Singapore tomorrow as well. So, like you, we're all going somewhere.
Lovely. And when you back in London, by the way?
I think I'm back in London like mid-January. I'm
Oh,
not too sure at the moment.
so
Yeah,
in
but
Singapore for
like
a while then.
yeah, I'll be in Singapore a while till mid-Jan, and then I'll be back. So I know you're also coming back in the same time
Yes.
as I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe for the first time after I don't know, XXX amount of episodes, we'll be finally in the same room.
That is true. You will not see two screens, you guys. You'll see one screen after two more episodes. So just be very excited. And talking about that and talking about us being in the same room, you guys, Audrey and I were talking about how we are very grateful that a lot of people are watching us and watching this podcast, but they're not really subscribing to our channel. So it's the new year. We'd love to see some good things happening. So could you please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, like the video so it goes to more people. And if you want, you can leave us a comment as well about how you feel. It could be good, bad, but just like tell us how you feel so we can talk to you guys as well.
Speaking about getting more likes and subscriptions, which plays into our 2024 resolutions into this podcast, this is the whole reason why we wanted to talk to you today on today's episode. In today's episode, we are unwinding 2024 resolutions. We will be speaking about our own resolutions, resolutions we might have for this podcast. And also, if you have any 2024 resolutions you'd like to share with us, comment down in the section below. And then, it would be great to read up on all the things that you want to do to be a better self or be a better you. Or even if you don't want to change anything, that's fine. All right. And when it comes to resolutions as well, how many of us has actually made resolutions that we never really stick to? Um, we've talked about getting healthier, eating better, and being, something that we want to improve, but never really worked on it. And I think, today we also want to bring across some of the techniques that we thought about that could potentially set into action the resolutions that you want to bring across into your 2024. And hopefully it will help us as we bring across our resolutions into 2024 as well.
No, that sounds perfect. I agree. I think uh, whenever the new year comes, we're just very quick to make our resolutions without thinking about them properly or thinking them through. So today, Audrey and I have come up with a technique which will help us and you guys set up our resolutions for the new year for this year. So let's get started. I think Audrey and I were talking, and the most common resolution which we think about is going to the gym, quite literally. So let's just start with that, being the healthier
Wow.
version, being fit. That was you, right? Like that's you, and like literally, I do not know how many hundreds and thousands of people who do this every single year. literally in January, like 99% of people like have or who have the resolution sign up for the gym, but like in February it all drops down to 50%, then March like 40 more percent. So only like 10 to like 10, less than 10% of people actually stick through this. Isn't that wild?
Wow. No, that's actually really wild. I mean, I've started going to gym since last year, so I'm happy about that. And then, but my resolution was more tailored towards staying consistent, and I think that's what people lack. Like like people set resolutions. Like you set your resolution for New Year's, and then at the beginning you're also pumped, right? But then the consistency and the discipline to stay consistent falters. When we spoke about that episode on personal finance with Jordan, like 2 episodes ago, right? We talked about there was this technique that he used on us at the very end on goal setting, and he said something about the SMART technique. Um, I think it represents like 5 acronyms. So it was, I mean, Malika, remind me if I'm wrong, but it was specifics, um,
Yeah, it was smart. So like
specific,
be specific, M is measurable,
uh-huh,
A is actionable, right?
yeah,
R is what's R?
realistic.
Realistic, and
I
T
think it's
is
realistic.
timelines. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was an acronym and a technique. So he called it the SMART technique to make us, when we set goals, when we set resolutions, we only have we only make that one statement. I want to be healthy, right? Or I want to go to the gym. I want to start going to the gym. It gives a number to your goal and to your resolution, so that you can have a visual in mind of, okay, this week I have to go 2 times. Instead of putting something in like an open-ended goal there, like I want to go to the gym, but when, where, how, all these like questions you don't fulfill, and that gives more space for you to renegade on that resolution.
No, totally. So let's just do that. So, like, there's like literally an example to this, and people can actually visualize this. And even us, like, we can
Mm.
basically practice this when we set our resolutions for this year. So, taking this
Yeah.
example, let's go to the gym. So, I want to go to the gym in the new year, which is now. So, the first one is smart, specific, right? So, when I say I want to go to the gym, it's like, how many times do I want to go to the gym? But one thing we forgot
Mm.
to talk about is before the smart technique, this always comes a why. So once you have a
Mm.
purpose as a reason to why you set this resolution for yourself, like there's more purpose behind this. And then you do the smart thing so you're able to keep up with it. So a good why could be that I'm it sounds petty, but like I want to compete in some competitions, or I want to like go to like a beach destination and not really care about how I look and like be very secure about myself. And that could be a very good why as to going to the gym in the new year.
Yeah.
And then comes the
Same.
smart techniques. So the S. So Audrey, you start.
Mm.
So specific
The
is be very specific about
um
this goal. So where, how many times, all that stuff.
okay. Well, this fits right in because my goal is to stay consistent in going to the gym this year. So I want to work out, stay consistent in keeping active and working out. Why is because I want to meet a more healthier version of myself this year, right? I want to be stronger and I want to look toner as well. Um, Specifics. Let's see. I mean, I have a gym that's nearby, so it takes me 10 minutes to walk there. Um, my place in London, and I think every week I aim to go at least 3 times. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah,
when you guys do this at home in terms of like be specific as well, like you could go as specific as you'd like. For the time purpose, we're not going as specific, but you could literally be like, I want to go 3 times a day, and because I work these many days, like the weekends suit me more, so I'll go Saturday and Sunday, and I'll basically take out a Wednesday and a Thursday from that because I'm usually freer that day or freer those days.
mm,
So be more specific so you actually know that I'm going to go to the gym Monday or Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's the
mm,
specific. And the gym I'm going to go to is like Audrey's, like 10 minutes away from her house. That's the specific. And then
yeah,
comes the M, which is measurable. So when you have a goal that I
mm,
want to be healthy, it's like, how do you measure that you're healthy? Like if you're like 60 kgs right now or 70 kgs right now, do you want to be 50 kgs, or do you want to like increase your muscle mass to like 5 more kgs? So there's
mm,
actually a thing called BMI. I got done it today after a month as well. And you just get to
mm,
know about how much your ideal weight should be and how much weight you have to lose, how much muscle you have to gain, and all that stuff. And that's your
Yeah.
measurable. So you can measure it every single month. So after end of the year, you'll know that you have reached your goal of achieving that weight or something.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really measured how much, like, because I'm not doing it for a specific reason of losing weight or gaining muscle mass, or I just want to feel good, right? I know by being active I feel good and I feel healthier. So I think in terms of that, I think just staying consistent, like 3 times a day is my measure of consistency. Or 3 times a week, sorry. Like 3 times a week, every week is my measure of consistency. So kind of like a habit tracker, right? Making sure that every week I will go at least 3 times a week. And if I don't do that, then that's how I measure it, how I measure consistency in my books.
I mean, yeah, it's a very good example about how two people can think so differently. For example, me, like I can't do what Audrey's talking about here because we're different people. And even though I still want to go because I don't want to be a certain weight, I'm also going just to like feel good about myself and feel more secure. But I
Yeah.
do something with a purpose behind it. For me, like if I don't have a motive behind like I want to get this under this weight. Like I do not think I'm striving towards something. So for me, like having a measurable can be something very different than what it is to Audrey. For her, measurable is also like going 3 times a week. For me, it's like gaining 5 more kgs on like my muscle gain as opposed to just going to the gym 3 times a week. So your
Mm.
measure can be very different as to opposed to like what you want to do, and that this is a very good example about how we think very differently. Then the
Yeah.
A is actionable.
How are we going to do it? So how are you going to put that into motion? I
Right.
mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
That's how I
So
see
you have
it.
to pay for the membership, or
I hope
I
hope
think-
Jordan doesn't see this and be like, oh my god, you're using it all wrong.
yeah. And Jordan is someone who was our guest speaker for our 5th episode, which was personal finances. So this is a plug-in, unwanted, but if you want to watch personal finances, Jordan was there to talk, and you'll know who that person is. But yeah, Audrey, how do you plan on making that actionable? You'll pay the gym fees, I'm assuming.
I mean, I've already paid the gym fees, and I've already been going, but just not as consistent as I want to be. So I've been going, like, sometimes I go 2 times a week, sometimes I go 4 times a week, sometimes I go 3. But like it's just never consistent, right? Sometimes I don't feel like going at all and I lose motivation for the entire week. So yeah. So actionable, it's already there. How? It's I've already paid for the gym subscription. But how can I improve that is that when I wake up first thing in the morning, same thing as I did in Spain. When I wake up first thing in the morning, I won't do anything. The first thing I do is put on my gym clothes and head to the gym. So that's how I'm going to make it actionable. So the first thing I know, and I create a habit that the moment that every morning I wake up, I know that I'm going to go to the gym.
No, I like that. I think I was about to say the same thing. Like in terms of actionable, like it's more about how can you build that habit? How can you make it like an like unintentional action of that, like to that resolution? And for me, like it's a routine. So like I think if you have systems set up, that's how I make things actionable. So when I was in India, I'm still in India. I'm leaving for Delhi tomorrow. When I was in India for like the entire month, I had my driver. I told him that at 6 p.m. we leave, and I also hired a personal trainer, which I'm assuming cannot be done like in London for myself as well. But in terms of setting up processes, like it's an unintentional action that you have to go to the gym. I have a trainer who knows I'm going to be there at 6:30, and he has an hour dedicated to me, and I've paid for that already. And I have my driver who calls me that the car is ready to take me to the gym. So there are certain things that are just set up, so it's unintentional that I have to at 6 p.m. leave the house, sit in my car, and go to the gym to meet my trainer and then get my exercise done. And in different parts of the world, it could be very different. You could literally be like, at 6 p.m. I'll have my workout snack, and after that I need to go to the gym because I have my system, I have my calendar blocked out. So actionable could be setting up processes to make that an unintentional action that you have to do it.
So what's the next one? Next one is R. So realistic.
Realistic, yeah.
Well, you gotta ask yourself the goals that you're setting, the measurements and the actions that you have set for yourself to achieve the goal that you want. Is it reasonable? Is it realistic? And of course, I think for me, I think it is. I think it probably is. What about you, Malika? Do you think yours is realistic?
The thing is, in India it was, because here there are people I could like use help with to like set up those systems, but in London or in Dubai, like I do not know if I will have that luxury. I will make a realistic resolution depending on which city I am in.
Okay. And timeline. The last one will be timeline for both of us. So what kind of timeline do you want this to, like, what timeline do you see yourself pursuing this and achieving it in?
I think lifelong, like to be extremely honest, I feel like I'm a different person already. I've only been like working out for like a month now, but I do not think this is something that I want to do like just for a certain period. Like it's a lifestyle. And I do envision myself to be like a gym girl unintentionally, like without choice, but also by choice. Like I think it's something that I have to do to like be able to be where I want to be in the next 5 years. So yeah, lifelong. And that's why we have doing the smart thing. So it is a habit unintentionally for the rest of my life, basically.
Think
You?
more or less the same. Yeah, but in terms of, just to make it more specific as well, I hope I can achieve consistency by like, of course, working out will be a habit that I built for myself, right? Like I think I mentioned on one of our previous episodes, the one where we talk about habits, where it takes 21 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a lifestyle. So I think I want to build that habit by February, March to stay consistent. And then obviously by mid-year, I want to make sure that, I'm going at it. Like this will be, consistent for as long as I can, and make it consistent. And of course, like you're going to encounter things that, will make it inconsistent. Like maybe you travel, or maybe you go somewhere on business trips, or sometimes you work late, too many late nights in 1 week. Then perhaps it's going to get disrupted. But, of course, like it is your duty and discipline to stick to it. And once you've built that, I don't think you would have, what it takes to see it crumble when you built it up for so long.
No, I agree. It's interesting because like I read a post again, like I think it was this morning when I went to the gym, and literally it talked about the same resolution, like I want to be healthy in the new year, which is this year. And it literally said that I did not get fit, or you would not get fit by lifting weights or eating protein or whatever. Like you will live up to this resolution by showing up. By showing up when you don't want to, when you can't, but you still show up. So as you said, like you don't have a goal. It's more about being consistent, by just showing up. And that's what the post said, which is so true. Like you don't have to like make a lot of changes in your lifestyle to achieve what you want to do. Like if you want to be healthy, you can start very, very small, which is what we talked about in the habits episode 4. But just show up. And you can set up these processes with the SMART technique to just show up to the gym whenever you have set yourself to, and that'll make all the difference in the world. But yeah, that was the technique to help us know how we can set up our resolutions for this year. Audrey, what do we do next?
I mean, on top of that, like, we've almost come to the end of this little podcast that we're doing for New Year's. But on top of that, we also want to share with you our resolutions, apart from just going to the gym, of course. We want to share with you our resolutions for 2024. So Malika, maybe you can start off like,
oh my God, no.
What are the...
I'm so not prepared for this, you guys. Like, honestly, very honestly speaking, I've not made my vision board yet. I still do not know what I want in this year, and a part of me is like, I do not want to plan most things, but there are some things that I do know that I want to achieve in this new year. Being healthy is one of them, and being very intentional of what I put in my body. Another thing that I read about this body thing before we start this topic is you are what you eat and you are what you see. So just keeping that in my mind all the time. But one resolution I want to make for myself is, again, just showing up. I have a very big habit of procrastinating. And
yes, you do.
I really, really, really do. And I always need someone like a trainer or like someone like Audrey to help me stick to something that I want to do. And I cannot like rely on people for the rest of my life. So when I'm moving countries, and this year is a year of big decisions and big steps, and I just want to show up for myself and respect myself enough to do certain things. And it could be extremely small, like if I want to post a video every month, like just having the discipline to show up for myself and using the SMART technique to make that happen. But my resolution for this year is also to like at least have 2 different sources of income which are mine, and being very disciplined enough to just stick to them. I can make money, I can lose money, it can all go to shit, it will not work, it can work. but I just want to work on it and be sure for myself, and that's my resolution. Nothing big, nothing major, but just discipline. Being disciplined enough and showing up for myself is my resolution for this year. Audrey, now it
That
is your
sounds
turn.
that sounds very inspirational. I don't know if I can keep up to that. I mean, I'm not gonna dive too much into like finances, because, well, of course, like, you know, I actually we spoke about this to Jordan, right? So when we were going when initially when we were doing a run through of the episode, before the actual episode, I told him, I was like joking, and I said, like, obviously one of my 2024 goals is to find a job, and he looks at me, he's like, you know, you're gonna get a job, right? There's no way you're gonna go 1 year without going for a job. And he said, like, that's not a goal, because you know you're gonna achieve it. It just doesn't matter. It's gonna be a matter of when, but not, you know, if you're gonna achieve it. So a goal is something that challenges you, right? And for you to want to strive to achieve it. For example, finding a job is not a goal, but finding a job in this particular field when it challenges you in maybe this particular timeline, maybe that's a goal. So I took that into account. So it's not anything maybe career related or finances related, because we have also talked about that in one of our previous episodes. But I think one of my main 2024 resolutions is I really, really, really want to create a morning routine. You know, you you see those episodes where on YouTube where people wake up at like 5 a.m. and they just go about their day, and like they just have the time to themselves in the morning. I really want to be those people. I really want to wake up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, have that time to myself, maybe go to the gym, and then basically just take my time before I head to work once I get a job, right?
Audrey, realistic was the R in the SMART, by the way. Just a reminder before we talk about your resolutions, because we don't want to be like literally conflicting our own opinions right now. 5:30 a.m. Like, come on, let's just be a little more realistic.
No, okay, of course, like, that is a lifestyle I want to build. So my 2024 resolution is, by the end of this year, I want to build that lifestyle, which is waking up at 5:30 a.m., right? Every day, and creating a morning routine of like maybe reading in the morning, making sure I have a good breakfast, going to the gym, and then just taking my time and not having to rush for work, right? Waking up at a reasonable time where I'm able to do the things I want to do, but still not rush to work. And that's the lifestyle that I want to see myself in 2024. And yeah, so if I have if we start a side hustle, if we, succeed in this podcast, I definitely want to work on those things in the morning and get it done with before I go to my 9 to 5. And then 9 to 5 is focus on 9 to 5. And then after 5 or after 6, relax, complete relaxation, and you don't think about anything else for the rest of the day.
That sounds fair, but one thing that I realized while Audrey was talking, you guys, was we just talked about SMART techniques, about being specific and measurable and whatnot. And I said being disciplined and showing up without any specific thing to it. And Audrey said having a lifestyle without any specific thing to it. So what I will do after this episode is I will hold Audrey accountable, and I will do this exercise of the SMART technique, and I'll ask her all the SMART for her resolution, and I'm sure she'll do the same for me, and she'll be like, what do you mean by being disciplined? What do you mean by showing up for yourself? How will you make that happen? How will you measure it? And we'll do this with ourselves, and you could do this with your friend as well, or with your parents, or with your brother or your siblings, or whoever it is. I think when you do think about and talk about like, I want to do something, it's easier said than done. But when you actually put thought and like just do something like SMART technique exercise, it just sounds like it can happen, and it sounds a lot more realistic and achievable as well. So I and Audrey will for sure do this after the episode to like save you guys some time, and we hope that you guys do the same thing after this episode and do it with someone, so just someone can keep you accountable but also question you on every small thing, so you know how you can achieve it as well.
Exactly. When you say it out loud, right, and when you set these goals with someone else, you unintentionally create and visualize what you're going to do. By thinking about the specifics and the SMART technique, you end up visualizing in your head, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to achieve this? What am I going to do to achieve that? And however timeline that you have. And I think I read a quote somewhere, everything always happens twice. The first time is when you visualize it. The second time is when you create it. So bear that in mind. Once you visualize it, you know what you're going for, you will create it. Law of attraction, baby.
And manifestation and vision boards are whatever resolution that you set for yourself, like just like have a vision board and attach it to your shower or to like a cupboard, something that you can see every single day, because trust me you guys, things happen, and like if you constantly have it in front of your eyes, like you will subconsciously want to do something to follow up with it.
100%. Yeah. And I think that wraps up the episode today. It's
Episode
short
8?
and sweet. Exactly.
Was it?
It's the 8th episode.
Lovely. It is the new year, you guys. We have said hello. We have started our new year with you guys. But we hope that you guys had a lovely, lovely start to the new year and set up these resolutions and achieve whatever you want to achieve. But we will be here for the rest of the year, just meeting you guys every Thursday with a new episode. So stay tuned on Let's Unwind. Do let us know what you want us to talk about as well in the comments, and we'll make sure we cover that if that's reasonable. But we'll see you next Thursday. Till then, much love.
Bye.